What if Darth Maul killed Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine in Rebels? The twin suns of Tatooine hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the shifting dunes. A hooded figure walked the barren wasteland, his presence a whisper in the Force. The years had been unkind to Obi-Wan Kenobi, his once proud form now shrouded in solitude and regret. He had been waiting for this moment, sensing the storm that had come to find him. From the darkness of the night, red fire ignited. Maul stood before him, his horned silhouette illuminated by the crimson glow of his double-bladed lightsaber. "Look what has become of you, Kenobi," Maul sneered. "A rat hiding in the desert. How pathetic." Kenobi remained silent, shifting into his stance, his blue saber humming to life. Maul lunged first, a blur of red and rage. Kenobi parried, moving with precision, each motion calculated, honed by years of discipline. Sparks flew as their sabers clashed, lighting up the desert around them. They danced through the sands, but Maul was different this time. He had learned from his past failures. There was no blind rage, no reckless arrogance. This time, he fought with measured patience. Then, the moment came. Kenobi, believing Maul would fall for the same feint that had once felled Qui-Gon Jinn, adjusted his stance. Maul saw it, anticipated it. As Kenobi made his move, Maul twisted at the last second, avoiding the strike entirely. His saber cut through flesh and bone. Obi-Wan staggered back, his lightsaber slipping from his grasp, its blue glow vanishing as it hit the sand. He gasped. His hands gripping the wound Maul had struck across his torso. "You!" Kenobi whispered, dropping to his knees. Maul leaned in, placing a clawed hand on Kenobi's shoulder. His voice was quiet, pathetic. With a swift motion, he ended it. Kenobi collapsed, lifeless. The Jedi's watch had ended. Maul turned to the homestead in the distance. He could feel it, a power greater than anything he had sensed before. His lips curled into a sinister smile. "The boy!" Luke Skywalker screamed as the electricity surged through his body. His wrists and ankles were bound in durasteel restraints, his body slumped forward in exhaustion. The dark chamber of Maul's hidden lair was cold, the air thick with the scent of ancient death. Maul stood over him, his expression unreadable. "You will break," Maul said simply, his voice almost a whisper. Luke had lost track of how long he had been here. Days, weeks, months. He had no way of knowing. The pain was endless. Maul never spoke of why he had taken him, never explained why he inflicted such torment. He only demanded one thing. "Use your anger," Maul whispered, pacing around him. "Hate me. Hate this world. Hate the Jedi who abandoned you." Luke gasped for air, shaking his head. I don't even know what you want from me." Maul knelt beside him, his yellow eyes piercing into Luke's. "You are powerful," Maul said. "I can feel it. You do not need words. You need pain." Luke's body convulsed as another surge of energy crackled through him. His mind felt like it was unraveling. Visions flashed before his eyes. A man with a red blade. A woman's desperate cries. Fire. His rage boiled. Something inside him was changing, and Maul knew it. The boy was beginning to break. Luke no longer recognized his own reflection. The bruises and scars that marred his skin were nothing compared to the storm that raged inside of him. He had spent months in Maul's grasp, his body battered, his mind twisted and reshaped. The Jedi, they were myths. Fairy tales meant to comfort the weak. Hope, that was a lie. Only strength mattered. Only power. And now, He had it. Maul stood before him in the training chamber, his crimson saber humming. "Again," he ordered. Luke lunged forward, his own weapon, a newly crafted red lightsaber, clashing against Maul's. His strikes were fueled by raw aggression, his movements faster, more precise. Maul watched him, testing him. The boy had become something greater than he ever anticipated. A warrior forged in pain. A weapon with no master. Maul spun, delivering a kick to Luke's ribs, sending him crashing to the ground. "Is that all?" Luke roared, pushing off the ground with unnatural speed, his blade moving like lightning. He struck Maul's saber, forcing him back. Maul grinned. "Good." Luke panted, his chest rising and falling rapidly. His rage was becoming easier to control, to channel. Maul circled him like a predator. "You are ready," Maul said, deactivating his saber. "It is time for us to claim our destiny." Luke frowned. "What do you mean?" Maul's expression darkened. "There is a power in this galaxy that must be undone. A relic of the old Sith Order, one that has ruled through deception and lies. It is time for Darth Vader and Sidious to fall." Luke hesitated at the name. Vader. He didn't know why, but the name clawed at something buried deep inside him. Maul stepped forward, placing a hand on Luke's shoulder. "You and I will bring an end to their reign. Together, we will reshape the galaxy." Luke clenched his fists. He had nothing left to lose. The air on Dathomir was thick with dark energy. Luke stood at Maul's side as the two overlooked the ruined temple of the Night Sisters. The spirits whispered, their voices like wind through dead trees. Maul closed his eyes, extending his arms. "Mother," he whispered. A chilling wind swept through the temple as green mist swirled before them. A figure materialized, twisted and spectral. "Mother Talzin." "My son," she whispered, her voice laced with ancient power. Luke felt the darkness surrounding him, seeping into his bones. It was intoxicating. "We have come to seek your gift," Maul said. "A weapon to destroy Vader and Sidious." Talzin smiled, her ethereal form shifting. "The Sith are blind to our magic. But I have foreseen your victory. You will unleash a plague upon them, one that will rot them from within." She raised her hands, chanting in an ancient tongue. The very ground trembled beneath them as green flames erupted from the temple, forming a writhing sphere of raw energy. Luke stepped forward, his eyes locked on the unnatural power before him. "It is done," Talzin whispered. Maul turned to Luke. "You will deliver this to Vader yourself." Luke clenched his fists, feeling the magic coursing through him. "It will be my pleasure." Vader stood at the edge of the Imperial Palace, his eyes fixed on the darkened horizon of Coruscant. He had felt something, a disturbance, a presence. And then he saw him. A hooded figure approached, stepping through the shadows. He stopped a few feet away, his breath slow and controlled. Vader ignited his saber, its crimson glow illuminating the darkness. "Who are you?" Vader demanded. Luke slowly lifted his hood, his once youthful features were hardened, his blue eyes now cold and filled with darkness. "I've come to kill you," Luke said simply. Vader hesitated. There was something familiar about him. Luke threw his hand forward. The magic plague Talzin had forged erupted from his palm, striking Vader square in the chest. The Sith Lord staggered back, gripping his armor as the dark magic seeped into his body. Pain, more than he had ever felt before. His limbs trembled, his breathing became labored. The magic was consuming him from the inside, eating away at him like fire. Luke ignited his saber. Now you know what it feels like to be powerless. Vader fell to one knee. He looked up at Luke, his vision swimming. Who are you? Luke hesitated for only a moment. Then, he plunged his blade through Vader's chest. For the first time in decades, Darth Vader screamed. And then, he was gone. The Sith throne room was silent. Sidious sat upon his throne, his yellow eyes fixed on the two figures before him, Maul and Luke. So, the Emperor said, his voice smooth, the Phantom Apprentice returns. And you have brought a student. Maul smirked. No, my lord. I have brought your executioner. Sidious cackled, rising from his throne. Fools! You believe yourselves strong enough to challenge me? You are nothing but failed remnants of the past. Luke stepped forward, his lightsaber igniting. We'll see about that. The room exploded into chaos. Lightning crackled from Sidious's fingertips as Maul and Luke split apart, dodging the attack. The battle ignited with a fury unlike any before. Maul struck first, his dual saber spinning in a whirlwind of motion. Sidious countered effortlessly, his speed inhuman. Luke followed, his strikes swift and relentless. Sidious cackled as he weaved between their attacks. You think yourselves powerful? You are children playing with fire. Maul leapt, slashing down. Sidious caught his blade with the force and flung him aside. Luke pressed forward, his strength raw and untamed. He drove Sidious back, their sabers clashing with violent energy. For the first time, the Emperor was on the defensive. Maul recovered, lunging once more. He and Luke struck in unison, their combined strength overwhelming Sidious. The Sith Lord snarled, unleashing a blast of lightning. Luke absorbed it, channeling it through his saber. Sidious's eyes widened. Luke smiled. You're afraid. With a final surge, he struck. His blade sliced through the Emperor's chest, burning through flesh and bone. Sidious gasped, his body convulsing as the dark energy within him erupted. The Emperor of the Galaxy fell. His reign was over. Maul turned to Luke, grinning. It is done. We have won. Luke remained silent. Maul stepped forward, placing a hand on Luke's shoulder. The galaxy belongs to us now. Luke's grip tightened on his saber. You're wrong, he whispered. Before Maul could react, Luke drove his blade through his back. Maul's eyes widened in shock, his breath hitching. Only the strongest rule. He twisted the blade. Maul gasped one last time. Then, he was gone. Luke stepped forward, looking out at the stars beyond the throne room window. The Sith were dead. The Jedi were no more. And now, there was only him. Drop the scenarios you would like to see in the comments, and I will pick one every week. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.